Time has been flying by, and here we are. Okay, that was so bad. Wow, who wrote this script? Hey, Smack, I know you did that on purpose. I know you did this because I got first place in the poll that you put on Discord. Hey guys, Chantel here from SmackNPie, and you're watching another Walking Dead video. I guess I'm gonna do more of these. Anyway, all you Discord members voted for this video, so here we are. What? Oh, you didn't know? We've got our own Discord server, where there's over 280 members. We're having a lot of fun there. We've got voice chats that people are actively joining, we've got competitions, art, discussion for other games, levels, etc. You should join. Links in the description below. Anyway, today we're going to talk about episode 3 achievements, mashing that up with what we know so far from Reddit's AMA, and in general to make a theory about what we think is going to happen in episode 3. Let's get started. Now, as we know, there are acts that contain achievements, and what I want you to know is not every achievement is going to be achieved by every player. Some of them are for the side story, some of them are for extra work, so don't take all of these as solid story related. Let's make a two-sided panel, where on one side, we'll add all achievements from episode 3, and on the other side, the achievement acts. Okay, so on the left side, you can see all the achievements. Let's go through them one by one and see what we come up with. The first one is Best Girl, with the description Rosie. Now we need to understand how the last Rosie achievement in episode 2 worked. Spoilers! After Marlon's death and our return to school, you have the chance to make Rosie happy after Marlon's death. Now, if you remember the episode 2 ending, Abel's hand was bit by Rosie. Rosie helped Clem by the end of episode 2. This shows that episode 3 is going to be the continuation of episode 2 ending, just like episode 2 start. Now, we can't be too sure that we're going to do whatever we want with Abel right when episode 3 starts, and we're coming into that in just a second. However, it shows that we might have split times or, back and forth. Then, we got Mercy, with the description, did no harm. Now, if you watched our AMA recap video, which you should have by the way, we talked about how Kent confirmed that in episode 2, Clem and Abel are going to have a serious talk, which means torturing Abel so that he can help us find Delta, or just help us in general. What's also worth noting is that Kent confirmed that there's going to be a choice of how far you want to go in torturing Abel. It's going to be up to the player, and this achievement shows that if we're going to do literally no harm, which is crazy that is even a choice at all after what he did, but then again, if we think the other way, we're no different than them, so this choice makes sense. Well, that statement was pointless, but yeah, Abel is our go-to guy that can help us getting the kidnapped kids back, or just let us go to Delta. What'd be really interesting is if we get a season 3-like situation, when we had a choice of freaking Badger and Max. That's gonna be interesting, of how they take this route with kids torturing. I mean, after all, they've got no other choice. Add that into the psychology list of video games. Then, we've got Nightlight, with the description, made sure they slept tight. Now, this is easy to explain, to be honest, and let me tell you how we think it's gonna go. So, after torturing or not torturing Abel, either way, he's gonna tell us the location anyway. We're gonna make a plan to raid Delta. Okay, not raid Delta, that was too far, but to get into Delta and get the kidnapped kids back, which is obviously 100% not gonna happen. I'm telling you right here. Record me. Actually, record Smack, he wrote the script, not me. So basically, they're gonna make a plan, blah blah blah, go to Delta. Oh, we're strong, we're gonna show them all the stuff that you'd expect from kids in a zombie movie when they're about to go to war against adults. No, in all seriousness, they're gonna do all that and later be like, okay, it's time to take a nap, because we're freaking tired. Our friends got kidnapped. Mitch, more like B, I'm sorry, got killed, but who cares, we gotta move on. Okay, sorry, that was too far. But yeah, everyone's gonna have a hard time sleeping. Of course they will. What I just explained a few seconds ago. How can you sleep after all that mess? Especially when you're a teenager. But, of course, it's gonna be our responsibility, Clem, to make sure everyone sleeps and takes some rest. And when I say that, I mean going to everyone and motivating them, making them feel a little bit better or good about themselves and the whole situation. Pay some respect to Mitch and make them ready for the next battle. It's all Gucci. I want to add a little bit into this achievement. As I said previously, you're not going to get every achievement unless you play like perfect and for achievements only, so that means you can mess someone's night. I'd like to see what Kevin would do in episode 3. We can also expect a little bit of extension in romance, or at least some exchange of that kind of words between whoever you saved. However, if you went with Violet and saved Lewis in the end, or went with Lewis and saved Violet, that'd be different. But yeah, no James. He's off the list, confirmed by devs. Okay, now, before I continue on that, let's go to the acts. Remember when I talked about that in the beginning? So, in here, you can see the first one is Whispers. That's the first act. Which is interesting because if you remember, we went through almost half the achievements and we haven't seen any Whisper reference, or even James. And remember, Whispers is actually Act 1, and if we think about it hard, James has got a bigger role to play in episode 3. We made a video on him a few weeks ago, and on AMA, it was confirmed that he's going to have more extension in next episodes. Now, let's see if any achievements match with Whispers or anything near. We've been thinking about this, and it might sound weak, but do you remember? There were so many walkers outside school after raiders got in, to the point where we have to kill them, and then episode ends. We've been thinking about this, especially Smack. Why did they add that final gameplay scene after raiders got what they needed? And trust me, this will work. And it'll make sense, okay? So all we know is James has been going around here and there, sending walkers to help random people after he left his group called Whisperers. Maybe, just maybe, the walkers were sent into the school to help the kids, but it was a little bit too late. Now, we're not saying this out of thin air. Firstly, James knew the location because Clem went there with him. Secondly, James knew that raiders are going to attack because they'll do anything to get what they want, and James has been keeping an eye on them. I know it's vague and might sound weak, but considering the fact that the act name is Whispers, even though the first act, from achievements, has got nothing to do with Whispers, shows that James will be there, or at least he'll be mentioned by either Clementine or something like that will happen. The rest is now up to you guys. Let us know how this theory sounds. Now let's get back to normal achievements. Let's assume that we got another time lapse, just like in episode 2 of 2 weeks. We'll assume something like that happened here in episode 3 as well. And now it's time to go to Delta. I personally wanted to talk about the episode 3 menu because it's got a lot to do with how this whole thing is going to play. But we'll leave that for the Delta theory. If you want that, you already know what to do. Now, the all-seeing with the description of "let nothing slip by" might be a simple reference. And again, this is weak because we haven't researched that much into Delta. But hear me out, we've been thinking about this one too. So, you get to Delta. Again, what happened in between is for later. And this achievement is going to be unlocked or given when you actually count the traps and guards that are protecting Delta from the outside. Every possible way that can help you get inside. Their weaponry, the inside stuff, and stuff like that. Counting all of that with caution, because let's be honest, most people want things done rather than taking time to think about stuff, and we don't blame them for that. This might prove our theory of us going into Delta solely for the purpose of getting the school kids back, and we're calling it again. It's not gonna go well. Now, the next achievement, and this achievement has a timeline in between. We can't really say what's gonna happen in between, even though we've got a theory on that. However, this next achievement is actually big. Did you lick it? With the description, "remembered the good times." Now, so many people were talking about this achievement specifically because it impacts the story between AJ and Clementine. Now, this achievement and the last achievement have way too much connection alongside episode 3 main menu. It's all coming together now. I really want to go in depth, but we're just talking about achievements and how they're going to affect the story, or how they're going to play out. So we'll leave this one for next time. Okay, this achievement is a callback to season 1, when Lee was suspicious about a salt lick, to which Clem responded with, "Don't lick it, it's gross," with Lee responding back, "Did you lick it?" Now this is wild, not just because it's a callback, but it's a huge thing for us theorists. Did you lick it achievement is basically Clementine remembering the scenario of the salt lick, which is going to be, as I said before, a callback to season 1. It's cool, yay, Lee references. However, this shows how big Delta is, how productive they are, how strong they are. Well, not as strong if they want kids to use guns. No, but seriously, this one achievement says a lot about Delta, because we know where salt licks usually are and for what purpose. So seeing this, mashing with season 1, this is gold. See? It's coming together now, isn't it? Now, before we get into the final few achievements, let's go back one more time to acts. This time, we've got Shoreline, and we know that episode 3 has something, well, a lot to do with sea and boat. Kenny Easter egg. I'll stop. But yeah, the boat thing is for later. However, this is where Delta Theory alongside episode 3 main menu might come in. Shoreline has got a lot to do with boat and sea, right? This is where our theory of us sneaking into Delta comes in. There's no going back. Abel may be able to help getting us to Delta alongside James's help. Because we need to remember that the first 2 acts got 15. 15 just like in episode 1 and 2, which means the third act has always been longer than the first 2, and the most significant one, which brings us to this point. We're going to use the boat to reach Delta. It's not confirmed, it's just a vague theory. See if you can come up with something and let us know in the comments. Which then brings us to the final ones. We personally wanted to stay away from personal space because it's vague. It could mean anything, like giving James personal space after the trauma of letting a lot of walkers get killed. It could mean Lewis or Violet. Remember what I said about opposite choices, because again, remember, not every achievement is going to be earned by players. Some of them, but not all. Which brings us to the second last, and that is as a mouse, with the description of was very sneaky, which is very easy to explain. Basically, you can mess up getting inside, or you can go inside chill, letting no one catch a glimpse of what's going on. It is what it is. With that being said, the final one is actually a big one. It's something we're kind of afraid to call, but let's go. So the theory is, we might get captured by the end of episode 3. Yeah, I know, it's a huge thing to call, but hear me out. You remember the boat thingy? The art of a few people on the boat. If you don't, we'll talk about that in the Delta video. But know this, we'll get captured by either Delta themselves or another group. It really doesn't matter, but we'll get captured. And this final achievement shows that we're not just going to get captured for a few hours, but literally days. That's why it says, tally, with description, counted the days, which shows that we're going to be captured for days, while we need to come up with some idea to get out of all this mess. It's going to be a lot of fun, like if the other group's leader is someone we know, like Krista. Not happening anytime soon, I mean anyone that we know. It's going to be a banger of an episode. Trust me. Now, why did I say leader of another group could be someone we know? It's because the final act is called leader. We cannot be leader in this situation because we're not strong when it comes to Delta or even the other group. We're just teens trying to survive on our own. But we could be 100% wrong, so don't worry. Leave all discussions in the comments. Now, I know that was a lot to take in, but remember, these are all just our theories, our interpretation of what's going on. You can agree or disagree, but by no means we're saying it's confirmed. Now guys, can I get a shout out for Smack for this script? He's sick nowadays. Anyway, with that being said, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. What did you think of this video? Smack said it's one of his favorites because he loved the script that he wrote. Heh, what a loser. Joking, Smack. Anyway, please share this with all your friends, make sure to like this video if you want to see more, and don't forget to join our Discord server. The link is in the description. Oh, and join SmackNPie, which is now over 11,000 people. And we'll see you soon. Peace!